Now, it's day 11 of the dog days of podcasting. I have a few things to wrap up from prior installments. In the episode of That 80's Show, My Dead Friend, I completely left off a key point of the A-plot where Rick's father met with Corey after hearing Corey had stayed with Rick on the floor until the paramedics arrived. Rick's father confused that with true long-term friendship and got Corey to deliver a eulogy. All of that is part of the A-plot that I said I enjoyed. I just neglected to include those details. Perhaps that's part of what made the episode come in so short. Today we're going to look at episode 6 of That 80's Show, Spring Break 84. I said last time that Kyler Lee was perhaps the most successful performer to come out of the show, and that possibly discounts Glenn Howerton, who plays Corey. I know that he moved on to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which I haven't seen and parenthetically won't be covering in future episodes of this show or any other sitcom. Probably. From things I've seen online, I had the impression people didn't like Glenn, but it's possible that it's his character and not his performance. But in any case, on That 80's Show, he's, what's the phrase, more or less adequate. So in this episode, Katie discovers she's maxed out on her credit card. I know it's the 80s and she's only in her early 20s, but I'd love to be $1,000 in debt. Meanwhile, one of Corey's high school band classmates has changed his name to Ray Thorne and has become successful enough performer to open for the Smiths in his hometown San Diego. Katie convinces her dad, who also thinks she's still in college, to fund a fake spring break trip to Cancun, and he writes a $1,300 check. Ray the rock star and Tuesday have a long chat, which might be mostly Tuesday toying with Corey, and Tuesday accepts Ray's invitation to his show opening for the Smiths. A bunch of sitcom situations later, Katie confesses to her dad about the real reason for wanting the money, and Corey asks Tuesday out on a date, and not to date Ray. If you like sitcom humor, that's the high point. There are good jokes, situations relating to Katie maintaining her lie about Cancun. Roger has a running physical comedy gag about his slippery pants. That is good, though they may use it a few too many times. The low point for this episode is part of what I've said before about what I see as a flaw with the series. The main family of this series is in sunny San Diego, well enough off that RT can take a checkbook out of his bathrobe and casually offer to write a $2,000 check without even thinking about it. Even if you adjust the amounts for inflation, it's not something Red Foreman would ever have done in the original series. There's a smaller subset of people who can actually relate to this kind of family. So, who won, who lost? I suppose Tuesday wins. It's pretty clear the whole Ray thing was a means to an end where she pushes Corey to get to actual date stage. Alright, is it an anachronism? Katie asks the Cantina band to play some Bananarama, and they break into a performance of Cruel Summer. This is pretty questionable. Bananarama had done some promotional appearances in the US market in 82 and 83, but hadn't really broken through. Cruel Summer was released in the UK in 83, but didn't break in the US until late June of 84 after this episode's setting, when it was used on the soundtrack of The Karate Kid. So it's not impossible that Katie would know the band, and it's not impossible for the song to be learned by the Cantina performers. It's just really, really unlikely. What worked? I'm thinking this section usually relates back to the high-low points from earlier. I'll probably be retooling it as I move into the next series in any case. The general sitcom humor was the part was successful. Why did it suck? I don't think this episode sucked. The low point from before is, I think, a definite factor for the entire series, but I don't think anything was all that egregious at the single episode level. So next episode is Katie's birthday. They haven't specifically said her age, but unless she's been drinking with a fake ID in all the previous episodes, I assume this won't be her 21st. I just hope that Owen can't wrangle another shore leave. That would make 3 in 2 months anyway, so how likely is that? I don't really know, so I'll just say happy hunting. You have been listening to the One Idjit's Thoughts On podcast, produced by Paul Mackey in association with QuadrupleZ.com. Theme music is Too Good by Jack Mangan and is used by permission from him. If you would like to hear other podcasts by me, you might try the Ghostlight podcast, a completed intro cast about the TV series Slings and Arrows. or Idjit, an introcast for the TV series Supernatural. Both can be found on fine podcasting listening software everywhere or at quadruplez.com.
Nothing's tough but so